Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're doing well and that you're all having a fantastic day. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It looks like the US Congress is about to have a lot on their plate as the House of Representatives is set to debate a draft bill which aims to regulate the operations of stablecoins within the nation. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission is also expected to appear in Congress during a hearing, which aims to probe and examine the activities of the commission in recent... Yeah, that's going to be very necessary. On Wednesday, the House of Representatives, the lower chamber of the U.S. of Congress, will hold a hearing on a new draft bill that proposes to provide requirement for payment stablecoin issuers, research on a digital dollar, and for other purposes. For those of you who missed it, especially since the beginning of this year, countries do not like crypto, or so they say. This is what we've been told for a number of years. The second part is that they do not like stablecoins. They do not like the idea that there are companies who are issuing such things as them. This is nothing new. A lot of times people hear things in the news and go, I can't believe they're overreacting right now. No, this has been happening since the advent of the rapid movement of the internet. So if you look back at history, look back at news stories, you can definitely find them. Since around the 1990s or so, people have been trying to make digital versions of the US dollar. There was one around 96 which tried to catch on. It did not work. Around 99 and 2000, there was one. It was either called DigiCash or something along those lines. It became quite popular, and I think it was around for about a good 6 months or so until authorities found out where it was being created and basically shut down the entire operation. And I laugh because this is kind of the advent or the birth of Bitcoin. The reason why Bitcoin is special is because the creators of Bitcoin and or creator, it is widely believed to be a group of 6 to 8 people who came up with the idea and then executed it. Figured out a way to basically give control to the public. And this is why nodes and decentralization are so important in the entire space, because it basically boils down to, if Bitcoin was in one office, it would have been shut down a very, very long time ago. But it is nearly impossible to shut down Bitcoin, as there are tens of thousands of people and it has the potential for 8 billion people to be able to secure and run the network as well. It is also rumored that, I'm not sure if the guy simply said it because he wanted to be on TV at the time. It is rumored that the creator of PayPal also tried to make the PayPal website something similar to Bitcoin, like a form of digital money that people could use online. The story goes is that they found him. He was served with paperwork and basically decided to make it as as legal as possible. They joined with eBay, yada yada. The rest is history. When it comes to the idea of stablecoins, and this is why, if you've been here for a number of years, you've seen that if you've paid attention, you've seen that Tether has been constantly attacked from all sides by different companies and by different institutions and by different news outlets. I believe this is because not only does the government not like it, because it is literally a digital version of what they're trying to do, but also a number of other companies are trying to get into the cryptocurrency digital asset stablecoin space, and they're trying to create it. And whenever Tether is used in any sort of way, there is a fee for using their network, and the people from Tether get that fee, and therefore you, as JP Morgan Chase or Fidelity or BlackRock or the US government, you want those fees to actually go to you. And also you want more control over what's actually happening on it. You want it to collect data and collect IP addresses, and you want all this other stuff, which I think Tether is not doing because it would not be as popular. So you kind of get the idea. At the beginning of this year, 2023, we had very explicit news that this was going to be the year of the central bank digital currency / stablecoin. A number of countries around the world have announced that they're making their own stablecoin, and they've been very adamant in making sure that you understand that they're no longer trying to call it a central bank digital currency. It's the same exact way that you've seen like the shift in the term NFT now become digital collectible. I think that governments are trying to do that really weird thing, like where they're wearing like a baseball cap, but they put it backwards and they try to pretend like they're young and hip when they're actually just trying to rob you. Like that kind of thing is currently going on. So it looks like the U.S. is going to be actually discussing and voting on this. I don't think the actual vote will be happening this early. And even if it was, it's kind of weird that they would even be trying to pretend that they're going to have a vote. We all know that they are going to have a digital currency of some form. It is going to be about control. It is not going to be about privacy. It is not going to be about your rights. It is not going to be about helping you and your family. It is going to be about gathering as much information about transactions and everything that you are doing from you and your family that will go to a centralized server at an actual government building in some sort of way. Like you don't even have to look through the smoke on this one. Like it is clear as day what's actually trying to happen. The interesting part is that they're going to be talking to Gary Gensler about this, as no one cares for him anymore. And I mentioned that a couple of months ago in a joking but not joking way. I said we've had explicit news. There's also something in this video. We've had explicit news that no one likes him. No one in the CFTC, no one in the SEC, no one who runs a business, nothing. And I was like, I wonder what it's like to walk around knowing that everyone hates you. Like imagine like walking into your office and everyone looks away because no one even said good morning to you. That has to be a very weird feeling. And this may be why Gary Gensler is also, walking around just kind of stomping on everything, because he realizes that no one likes him and this is his only way of feeling relatively important. It says stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency whose value is pegged to another asset, such as a fiat currency, exchange-traded commodity known as gold, or another cryptocurrency. These tokens are a vital part of the cryptocurrency market, as they offer investors a stable monetary value. Common examples of stablecoins, and they have like the names of stablecoins as if we don't know the multiple stablecoins that are actually out there. The 72-page draft bill slated for the hearing aims to make the Federal Reserve the regulatory oversight of non-banking institutions. This makes sense now. Which issue stablecoins such as Tether for USDT, etc. Meanwhile, insured banking institutions that want to offer stablecoin services will fall under the regulation of the appropriate federal banking authority. Okay, I get it now. It's basically the Fed, the people who print money. They are the people who want to be the overseers of the entirety of this. And this will be quite interesting to see how, and I wink here, decentralized stablecoin providers end up reacting if this actually ends up going through. Tether is issued on multiple different blockchains, I believe, for a reason. And this is it. I think they saw what was coming, and I think they know that one of the easiest ways to contain or make sure that Tether survives essentially forever is by putting it on all of the top blockchains. I think it's on top of, I think there's some on Bitcoin. I think there are some issued. I can't remember. I know there's some on Bitcoin. There's meant to be some on XRP. I'm not sure how far they got on that. I think there's some on Cardano. There's some on Tron. I think there's some on Avalanche and a whole bunch of other places. Like there's fragments of it kind of all over the place. So it'll be interesting to see the same exact, like the same exact way when I was saying that not all decentralized exchanges are actually decentralized, and then a lot of them were getting like subpoenas and the SEC was knocking on their door. It's because they're not decentralized. They have a centralized place. I wonder how many of these things are going to disappear based on this law. And I don't mean like like literally them like pulling the plug out of the wall, which would also be a red flag, which means that they are not decentralized at all. But how many of them begin to announce that if you use their stablecoin, they now need your data and all this other stuff that they did not need before? It's going to be a very interesting time. Tying loosely, heavily into this news as well, Commissioner Hester Pierce of the U.S. SEC is sounding off the alarm against Gary Gensler's anti-crypto agenda. For those of you who don't know Hester Pierce, a couple of years ago, people tried this really creepy thing. She's the only regulator within the United States who was like very like open about what's going on. She says crypto's not her most favorite thing in the entire world, but she wants to see where it goes. She wants to see how it grows, what it could lead to, what kind of financial inclusion it could actually entail. And she has mentioned outright that she does not care for the head of the SEC. His name is Gary Gensler. A number of years ago, because of this, people began to call her crypto mom, and it had a very like Oedipus kind of thing to it, where I was like, please don't do that. You don't know this woman. She's not your mother. And it still persists today. People still call her crypto mom, and there's another person who they call crypto dad, but he's not in the news as often, and therefore it's not as important, if you will. But Hester Pierce is once again in the news, as always, the only person who comes forward and she's like, stop it. Something's not right here. In a new speech, Pierce slams, the regulatory agency for proposing an adjustment to the definition of exchange so that it would include decentralized finance protocols. The SEC has gone after basically every single cryptocurrency exchange that we currently have right now, announcing that they believe that in some way they're all fraudulent, they're all doing something wrong or bad or something that will hurt consumers. If you paid attention about a good 3 or 4 weeks ago, and even before that in the past and the long ago, every single time that the SEC has filed a lawsuit against a cryptocurrency company and or a cryptocurrency exchange alleging that they did something wrong to U.S. consumers who had access to their product in some sort of way, at the end of the lawsuit or the end of whatever, they end up paying the SEC a huge stack of cash, 5, 10, 15, 20, $35 million, as an I'm sorry for the evil that I did, even though I didn't know that it was evil. And the SEC ends up taking that money and never actually gives it to the public or to the people who they claim were actually wronged. So on top of that, they're trying to now encompass all of this with decentralized exchanges, announcing that these protocols should fall in line with the laws and rules of the US SEC as they deem fit. And anyone who does not is going to end up getting in trouble or get a summons or a subpoena or whatever these people decide to print on a piece of paper. According to Pierce, such a change would be counterproductive and only serve as a way to force centralization and stagnation. She said stagnation, centralization, expatriation, and I don't know why she's rhyming, and extinction are the watchwords of this release. Rather than embracing the promise of a new technology as we have done in the past, Here, we propose to embrace stagnation for centralization, urge expatriation, and welcome extinction of new technology. Accordingly, I dissent. And I mean, literally clapping for her, because I'm sure that there are other people within the SEC, Congress, the Senate, the U.S. government, who actually feel the same exact way, but no one says anything. She's the only person saying something, and this is why I assume she has risen to fame quite quickly within the cryptocurrency space. I mean, I understand not accepting new technology. This isn't a joke. This is more of a human beings tend to do this on all fronts whenever they feel scared and or threatened in any way. We've mentioned before, this was mentioned in other podcasts and all this other stuff. The idea of adoption of new technology is scary to humans because it scares them. And not in like a, oh my gosh, who's that creepy person walking down the street kind of scared. It's more like a, what happens to me after this gets implemented? We've gone over before with the idea of even something as, I was going to say simple, it's not simple at all, as AI or the introduction of everything being more digital. And, we have instantaneous knowledge of what is and what is not right, air quotes, accordingly based on law because of technology. What's the point of 15 people sitting inside of a room trying to decide if something is actually right or wrong when we can simply go over digital law and or rule, or AI tells us explicitly if we're trying to do X, Y, and Z, what is then right or wrong? What's the purpose of the SEC? This also comes into play when you talk about what's the purpose of a government. And I know that sounds very radical and very, fist in the air. One of the main ideas of cryptocurrencies is, if you were here since the very beginning or, have looked into it, it's kind of the idea of he who prints the money has the power. What happens if Bitcoin ends up becoming the money of the US or the money of the world? What power does the government then explicitly have? You tell people what they can and cannot do because you are the controller of money. You tell people how they can and will not get in trouble because you are the printer of money. What happens when you don't print it, when you don't control it, when you have no say who can own it? Right. It changes the entire landscape dramatically fast. And this is why we see, and once again, this is why I think we see people like Warren Buffett and Munger and all these other people who made their money because of the rules and laws that are in place with the US dollar and the centralization of the system. They made their money from it. They want to continue making their money from it. When you talk about regulators, now I have to sneeze and it won't come out. When you talk about regulators, as far as I have seen, I go over news daily. I mention that quite often because I wanted to really hit home. I go over news every single day. As far as the news that I have seen, that I have relayed to all of you, we have yet to see a proper definition within the United States of a regulator properly regulating, that is to give law, to give rule, to let other people know what they can and cannot do. And also when these fines and these fees are paid, why does that never go back to the citizens who were, air quote, wronged? It has not happened. So any regulatory approach that we've seen has simply been by force. You did something wrong 5 years ago. You're going to get in trouble for it right now. Give us 15, 25, 35 million dollars. And then everything's okay. It's because they know that they have to wait a number of years. This is how things work within the United States for those of you who've never been there or have never lived there. The idea is that if I see you doing something wrong, I don't tell you. I wait and I make a case against you until I see that you have an astronomical amount of things that you have done that then constitute a, I think it's not a felony. It's something above that. Like there are different words. Like you did a little crime. You did a middle crime, you did a big crime. They usually always wait to build up a case against you. And this is why if you've paid attention to US news at all, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, any time frame actually, you'll hear that there are 26 counts against this person. There are 14 counts against so-and-so. There are, 10 years worth of documents. It's because that's how things work. It's never that I see you doing something wrong. Let me warn you now of the consequences in the future if you continue doing this action. It is, well, you know what? We got 15 years on you. It's a very, if you haven't noticed, it's quite a weird system. So once again, Hester Pierce is prominently in the news talking about how she does not agree with anything that Gary Gensler is doing. But I think once again, no one does. And I wonder why can Hester Pierce become the head of the SEC? Is that a thing? Does she have to be voted in by her peers? Is that one of the main things that ends up taking place? Because I think we'd be in a completely different world. Like I've said before, I understand regulation. Like we've been here so many times and I have seen and have shown you so many scams and so many things that didn't sit right. And these coins disappeared and this happened. And this was, all these things that have taken place over the years. So I understand the need for some sort of regulation in that. If you are planning to not be decentralized, like if you are going to be decentralized, there's literally mathematically then no way that your protocol could be shut down by the creators. If everyone watching this video right now, I tend to have, thank you for the support, I tend to have between 12 to 15,000 views per video. If 15,000 people were running a validator, the original creator could not simply say, okay, I'm gonna exit quickly, rapidly, or scam, because you would need the other 14,999 people to be able to do so. However, if you are trying to build something within this community, within this space, and you know for a gosh darn fact there are going to be less than 5 nodes and they're all going to be run by you and your friends, sign up with us. Just because there's an inherent risk of you not being decentralized and actually being able to run away and harm people within the community. Why is it that I can make rules and regulations 9 times quicker than anyone in the SEC can? So anyway, yeah, this is a stablecoin year. We have seen that there are a lot of countries who are going to be launching them over the course of this year. The US is now having a discussion about it. I don't assume that it's going to go well or that they're going to embrace decentralization or simply say, you know what, I think it's time to pass the torch to someone else who can do a much better job than us. I heard someone chuckle. That's because, we know how governments can actually be. And also, yeah, at least we have Hester Pierce. I assume she doesn't have much power because she seems to always kind of be in the background screaming loudly. But I guess everyone else in front of her doesn't hear or simply does not want to hear. Yeah, that's the Hester Pierce U.S. Congress stablecoin 2023 news. And yeah, let's move on. Yes, for those of you who don't know, I am taking a break. I'm still making sure that there are videos every single day. I'm going to try my darndest for everyone out there because there's always a lot of stuff happening within the cryptocurrency space. But yes, I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a, that's a long line. Geez Louise, it keeps getting longer. Do you see that? Jeez. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are. Wherever you might be, I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all, every single one of you, for your support, for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting every single day. I really, truly do appreciate it. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.